Welcome to our channel. Today, we will learn about the inspiring story of Elisha, one of the great prophets of the Bible, whose miracles and acts of faith left a mark on the history of Israel. Elisha was a man of God, endowed with a profound spiritual connection and a very good heart. His miracles are powerful testimonies of the unshakable faith and compassion he demonstrated in every act. Get ready to learn about this exciting story through the most notable events of Elisha's life, where we will see how his devotion to God and his miraculous actions continue to inspire and strengthen the faith of believers to this day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and activate notifications so you don't miss any content. Let's get started. As the sun rose on the horizon, Elisha, the apprentice of Elijah, received the sacred mantle. The wind blew gently, and a reverent silence dominated the valley. Elisha knew that his journey was just beginning and that his faith would be put to the test. His heart, however, was firm, confident in the power of God. Days later, on the banks of the Jordan River, Elisha raised Elijah's mantle and struck the waters. The river opened, forming a dry path, and Elisha crossed, assured that the Lord was with him. The prophets of Jericho, seeing the miracle, recognized Elisha's authority. His reputation as a man of God began to spread. The city of Jericho suffered from contaminated waters that caused diseases. Elisha, upon being informed of the problem, requested a container of salt. After praying, he threw the salt into the source and proclaimed the purification of the water. From that moment, Jericho's waters became healthy, and the people celebrated the miraculous cure. Once, a desperate widow sought out Elisha. Her creditors threatened to take her children as slaves. Elisha asked what she had at home. "Only a small jar of oil," replied the widow. The prophet instructed her to collect jars from her neighbors and, with faith, start filling them. Miraculously, the oil did not stop flowing until all the jars were full. Elisha's generosity knew no bounds. In a village, he met a Shunammite woman who, with her husband, offered hospitality to the prophet. In gratitude, Elisha promised that she would have a child despite her advanced age. The promise was fulfilled, and the woman gave birth to a boy, bringing joy to her family. Years later, the Shunammite woman's son fell gravely ill and died in his mother's arms. Desolate, she sought Elisha. The prophet returned with her and, in an act of faith, laid on the boy's body, praying fervently. The boy sneezed 7 times and came back to life, leaving everyone amazed by God's power. During a time of famine, Elisha instructed his servants to prepare a stew for the prophets. However, one of the ingredients was poisonous. When the prophets began to feel the effects of the poison, Elisha asked for flour and threw it into the pot, purifying the food. Thus, he saved the prophets' lives with yet another miracle. Elisha and his followers found themselves surrounded by the Syrian army. His servant, terrified, asked how they would escape. Elisha prayed and asked the Lord to open the young man's eyes. The servant then saw hills full of horses and chariots of fire, ready to protect them. Elisha prayed again, and the enemies were blinded, allowing their escape. The prophet was tireless in his service to God. He cured Naaman, a Syrian commander, of leprosy by instructing him to wash 7 times in the Jordan River. Though initially skeptical, Naaman obeyed and was completely healed. His gratitude was immense, and he recognized the God of Israel as the true God. Elisha also helped the sons of the prophets expand their lodging by suggesting they cut trees near the Jordan. During the work, an axe fell into the water, and one of the men lamented the loss, as the axe was borrowed. Elisha threw a piece of wood into the river, and the axe miraculously floated, being recovered. On another occasion, Elisha revealed to the king of Israel the secret plans of the Syrians, protecting his people from ambushes. The Syrians, confused, sought to capture Elisha and Dothan. The army surrounded the city at night, but Elisha prayed, and the enemy soldiers were blinded. He led them to Samaria, where they were treated with mercy and released. Elisha's generosity also manifested in his interaction with foreigners. He helped a poor widow from the land of Israel by multiplying her oil, allowing her to sell the product and pay her debts. Elisha's compassionate heart reflected his deep faith and love for God. Elisha's relationship with God was intimate and personal. He frequently sought divine guidance and never acted without consulting the Lord first. This spiritual connection strengthened his ability to perform miracles and inspired those around him to seek similar faith. Elisha was also a defender of justice. When the kings of Israel, Judah, and Edom united to fight Moab, they consulted Elisha about God's will. The prophet instructed them to dig ditches in the desert, which were miraculously filled with water, ensuring the army's survival and victory in battle. In a time of great famine, Elisha again demonstrated divine provision. He multiplied barley loaves and ears of wheat, feeding a large crowd with just a few loaves. This miracle echoed the acts of his predecessor, Elijah, and prefigured the future miracles of the Messiah. At the end of his life, Elisha fell gravely ill. Even so, he continued to inspire and guide King Joash, encouraging him to fight against Israel's enemies. Elisha instructed Joash to shoot arrows through the window, symbolizing Israel's victory. After Elisha's death, his legacy of miracles and faith continued to impact generations. Years later, a dead man was thrown into Elisha's tomb during an enemy attack. Upon touching the prophet's bones, the man revived and stood up, witnessing the enduring power of God's Spirit that dwelt in Elisha. Even after his death, Elisha continued to be a channel of divine miracles. Elisha's story is not just about miracles, but about unshakable faith that transcends circumstances. His life serves as an example of devotion to God and compassion for others. Each miraculous act reaffirms the message that with faith, all things are possible. Elisha was a beacon of hope in times of despair. His ability to hear God's voice and act with wisdom and courage brought light to many. He did not seek glory for himself, but always pointed to the power and mercy of God. The life and miracles of Elisha left an indelible mark on Israel's history. His dedication and courage inspired many to follow his example of faith and obedience to God. Even today, his stories continue to inspire and strengthen the faith of believers around the world. And so we conclude the incredible story of Elisha, the prophet whose miracles transcended his own life and continue to inspire generations. From the purification of Jericho's waters to the resurrection of the Shunammite woman's son, each act of Elisha is a testament to the power of faith and God's mercy. His life teaches us that with true faith, all things are possible, and that generosity and justice are paths we must always follow. We hope this story has touched your heart and strengthened your faith. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories. Until next time, and may God bless everyone.